especially as we're, continually adapting to stress and the environment. They say, my memory was really sharp, and then something happened where I can actually see the person, the object, I can see it, I know what it is, but I can't recall it. Does anyone ever feel like that? Anyone in here? So we're going to talk about some easy things that you could do and things that we find to support the brain to help you with that. But that's actually a body signal for a need for oils or minerals in your body, which is something that we use in our office.
One of the things that I always like to talk about is why are a group of chiropractors talking about the brain? Well, that's a great question. I'm glad that you asked it. You're very smart, Penelope. I knew that was on the tip of your tongue. I set you up. That was a softball. Okay, so brain is one of the most important things that chiropractors work with. So everybody that got an adjustment today, each one of those adjustments are geared towards making a change to how your brain perceives the body. Now the brain, super smart. It controls everything. Most people don't think about those things because it does it on its own. You didn't have to tell your body to digest your breakfast that you already had today. It did it on its own. You didn't have to tell you to, hey, make some immune cells to fight off that person that was coughing at you at the store the other day. It did it on its own. The body has an inborn ability to heal itself. Today, we want to give you those tips and those tools for things that you can do outside the office and inside the office to have better brain health. I like to give some facts, though, about the brain and everything that's impacted by the brain and the body. I got 3 chairs. You guys can come on over. We're a friendly group. We won't bite.
Welcome.
We got some outlines for you if you could grab them, Dr. C. Okay, some easy things to learn about the brain. There's 86 billion cells in the brain, nerve cells. That's what the estimation is. So if you've ever felt like there's nothing home, there's 86 billion nerve cells going on in your brain. Now, it's really interesting because Dr. Kaysen, I know, briefly mentioned trauma. Imagine having a car accident, or the football player that's using their head to hit somebody. Do you think that it impacts some of those billions of cells? You better believe it. It alters that function that's in there. Now, this is another really interesting fact about the brain. 25% of your total body's cholesterol exists in the brain. I bet you did not know that fact. That's super important because the brain is composed mostly of fat, and you need really good fat in order to have your body work like it's supposed to. So many years ago, probably about 20-30 years ago, the craze was low fat. But low fat really was not good because low fat turned into high sugar. And when you have low fat and high sugar, you get lots of health challenges. And it has some of the epidemic that we're seeing with Alzheimer's, dementia, some Parkinson's, and things related to your head. So cholesterol is good. You want to have cholesterol and you want to have good fat because it's part of the nervous system. Now, I love this next one. The speed at which the brain transmits messages via the nervous system is 268 miles an hour. Now, I hope none of you have ever gone 268 miles an hour in your car, but if you did, that would be very fast. 268 miles an hour is right around where jets start to fly in terms of the speed that they're doing for the airspeed. So that's how fast the brain's communicating with messages to the body. That's why you can live those 40 days without food, 4 days without water, about 4 minutes without oxygen. You can't live longer than a second with the right impulses from the brain to the body, but it's just cool to see the speed at which it transmits energy. Also, as Dr. Casey and I were developing this, we said that's one of the reasons why someone, when they get up off the table after an adjustment, they go, that issue that I was dealing with, it's better. Well, how is that? Because it's an instant change with how the brain perceives that area of the body. Now, I thought this is a really interesting fact about the brain too. Low levels of omega-3s can be equivalent to 2 years of brain aging. So if you're having consistent low levels of omegas, it's like taking 2 years off of your life. So we're going to talk about some omegas a little bit later and how good they are for you. Now, I mentioned about low fat. What's really interesting is your brain, if you're doing low fat, it can actually start to eat itself to try to get minerals. So that's why fat's super important, and we're always talking about fats for brain health. Now, we've talked about this before. It's kind of fun to see different foods that actually look like organs. Does anybody tell me one food that looks like the brain? Cauliflower, broccoli, anybody else? It's a nut. Walnuts. So walnuts look exactly like the brain, and it's high in fat. It's really good for your brain. You know, this is a bonus fact. Does anybody have a guess what the first organ system is to form 9 days after conception? Brain. 9 days after conception, the brain starts to form in those cells, and it continues to grow to where you're at right now. So the brain is amazing and how it controls everything. You know, it was really interesting as I was doing research on this. And you know, like how computers' memory ends up getting used up and then they become slow? Brains have unlimited memory storage. You have unlimited capacity to remember everything in your life. There's like a crazy, crazy amount that no computer could ever come into contact with how we store memories and recall them. So the brain's super amazing, and we want to do simple, easy things to take care of our brain. So Dr. Kaysen, start us off. What are some simple, easy things that we could do to start with brain health?
I'm so glad you asked.
I know, that was another softball.
So think of a happy brain equals a healthy lifestyle, good foods, sleep. Really easy things that I'm sure all of you are aware of, but it's always good to have a nice reminder of things that we should be doing, or maybe that you kind of got off track of doing. So this is really interesting. Number one, stable source of energy, protein. And Dr. Anthony was talking about your brain, actually your body will cannibalize itself to get the fuel to the brain. So that's like proteins and fats. People that are doing low-fat diets and they're exercising, they're trying to lose weight, and they are wondering, I'm exercising so much, but I'm not gaining any kind of muscle. Has anyone ever heard someone say that to them before? They're exercising a lot, maybe they're restricting foods. Well, that's because it could be being used for the brain fuel. So one of the really easiest things that all of you can do is increase the protein in your life. What does that mean? That could be walnuts, eggs, chicken, turkey, beef, green leafy vegetables, all these different things. Increase it in your life, because so many times people, they're restricting the protein or the fat, and it's directly impacting their memory, their brain function. They could have a fog. I don't know if anyone, raise of hands, does anyone ever feel a fog?
Yeah.
Couple people here, okay? If you're online watching us, give us a thumbs up, show us some faces out there. But the fog could be because of some of these really easy things. Your brain uses 20% of your energy. 20%. So if you wake up in the morning and you just start going and you don't eat breakfast, and maybe you're not taking care of your body, you've already started below a full tank. And then you think about all the things that you do in a day, whether it is taking care of your family, grocery shopping, working, exercising, right? Doing all the activities. You need that protein and fat to help fuel you. Nutrition, number 2, I want to talk about some really easy things. Green leafy vegetables. Right now we're in season. Also, look at what is in the grocery store. Organic is always best, and the reason why is because if it's not organic, they spray all those vegetables with chemicals, whether pesticides, herbicides, different toxins, which your body has to process it. So think of the brain and the nervous system. If it's delivering those messages at 268 miles per hour, what could be slowing down those messages? It could be the fuel you're putting in your body, which is so important, the proteins, the vegetables. Coconut oil, I want to talk about a couple different oils to incorporate into your cooking, which will help to enhance the flavor, but also it's going to help fuel the brain. Coconut oil is one of those oils that helps to support brain function. They've done numerous studies and research with people with dementia, people that have memory loss, and research shows that over a period of time, incorporating, in this research article, was up to 6 tablespoons a day of coconut oil, organic coconut oil. They saw how the cognitive or the memory had improved in this group of people. So coconut oil, but organic olive oil, butter, different oils. And I know I was sharing with one of our members today different ways to roast your vegetables. Use your kale, your rainbow colored vegetables, Swiss chard, in a pan with olive oil or coconut oil and butter, and roast them up. You can put them in the oven at 350, and what you can do is you can put them in for 30, 45 minutes.
Come on.
Get some chairs.
There we got some. There's 2 spots here. We won't bite you.
Come
You're
on in.
fine.
Welcome.
We're happy.
Thank you for
You're
being
fine.
here.
You're good.
So going back to roasting vegetables, this is one of the easiest things that you can do to get some of your oils into your life. Butter, olive oil, coconut oil, use it in your cooking. Scrambling eggs up, use a little bit of coconut oil, which is so important for the brain. Use it and incorporate it to help you. Super easy.
So, it's really interesting. Want you to do a self-evaluation of the colors that you're doing in terms of food. Yesterday I sat down with a young lady and we were looking at her diet sheet, and it was really interesting, and I just asked the simple question, okay, what color are you missing from your daily routine of food? And it took a second, and I said, it sounds like green. So, green. So most people, you really want to be aware of green things, because it's like, as you get a little bit older and mom's not looking at you, it's like, okay, I don't have to do as many of those green things, but you really want to do that for brain health. One of the things that Dr. Casey and I always encourage people to do, you want to focus at least one meal on green things every day. And if you can't do one, split up lunch and dinner to 50% green stuff. It really is super helpful for brain health. I can't tell you how important the greens are. And a lot of times when I say that, people will go, okay, Dr. Anthony, you got to level with me. Does that mean more salad? Well, it could mean more salad, but it could be spring mix. It could be arugula. It could be broccoli. It could be bok choy. It could be cabbage. It could be cucumbers. Anything that's green, you want to start incorporating, because green is super good for you.
And with the green vegetables, also on number 3, antioxidants, which is going to help to keep your brain clean. That fog we were talking about, memory challenges. I know none of you here consume, all these different items like cookies or cupcakes and things like that. But from our experience of people coming into the office, they could be at a summer party and they say they had nothing to eat there. They had all these different things, and I don't normally eat that. But they say, you know what? I never eat those things, but I had it, and I felt tired, fatigued, bloated. I had one woman, she shared with me, she went to a party, she ate something, she was having digestive challenges, constipation, all these different things, which go back to colon function as well, but it goes back to the brain too. So work on increasing your proteins, your vegetables, your Celtic sea salt, your healthy fats, and that's going to help to overall clean that brain, because you want a clean, healthy brain to help you be happier and healthier too.
So let's talk a little bit about essential fatty acids. So remember at the very beginning we were talking about brain facts, and we said low levels of omega-3 could take 2 years off your life. We want to do some type of supplementation with omegas, and specifically something that's high in omega-3. So there's 3 really ones that we use in the office, and what I do is I do a rotation of oils. You're going to say, Dr. Anthony, what does that mean? That means one bottle, I'll do one, then I'll switch to another one, and then I'll rotate the other one. So the 3 that we use are optimal EFAs, which is a blend of omega-3, 6, and 9. I'll do 3 capsules of those a day. When that bottle's done, I'll switch to the Bio Omega 700, which is just strictly Bio Omega-3s. What's really good about that, and I want you guys to always evaluate stuff that you use and you put in your body. Biotics, what they do, the company that we use, is they set up a place, I believe it's off the coast of Chile, that they harvest the anchovies and sardines, and they're making sure that they're getting a pure source of good omega-3s. A lot of times someone will come and they'll ask me, well, Dr. Anthony, I got the huge bag or the huge container of omega-3s from Costco. Do you think that that's going to be sufficient? And I go, probably not, because they're not going through the same practices that you would to make sure that they're clean and they're small fish. So you really want to have a good source of omega-3s. That's why I like the Bio Omega 700. Super, super helpful. Really good for brain health. And now a vegetarian source of omega-3s could be flax oil. So I rotate between optimal EFAs, Bio Omega 700, and flax capsules all the time. You want to also be able to consume foods that are high in omegas, walnuts, eggs, wild caught salmon. This is a good time of the year in order to get salmon. You really want to make sure that you're just having fat in your life. The brain doesn't like no fat, and it doesn't like too much fat. So you want to have definitely a good balance of fat. Another really good fat you can incorporate is an avocado. Now, Dr. Kaysen, talk to me about number 5, because I think that this is probably the most important thing that anybody in here could be doing today.
This is one of the easiest things everyone can do. So how many people right now, on average, drink half of their body weight in ounces of water a day? Wow, this is actually pretty good. Okay, so for the people who did not raise their hand, I want you to calculate out how much you weigh divided by 2. That's how many ounces of water is your water goal for a day. And I recommend one of the easiest things that you can do is measure out your water so that way you have it, how much you need to drink before the end of the day. You do not want to be drinking all this water before you go to bed at night. You will be thinking about us tonight when you're waking up throughout the night, because that is a natural process of that elimination. But I want to challenge you for 1 week. This is my little homework assignment for you. Be conscious of how much water you're drinking and focus on hitting that mark for an entire week. Take note of how your body changes, especially the brain. Your brain could feel dull right now, dull or flat. I was talking to a women's group yesterday, and we were talking about the brain and the nervous system, and she was sharing, you know what? She said, before I came to see you, I just felt kind of flat in my life. And I said, what do you mean by that? She said, well, my kids, they told me I wasn't that much fun anymore, and I didn't have the energy like I used to. And she said, I wanted to be able to go outside and play. And she said, one of the biggest things I noticed was incorporating water changed my life. So whether it's your brain, your nervous system, your skin, think about that. How much water are you drinking? And for those that didn't raise their hand, increase it. I know you're not going to get there tomorrow, but start working on it. Put it in your water bottles, your containers. I would even recommend sprinkling some Celtic sea salt in it. 1/4 of a teaspoon of that Celtic sea salt helps with the minerals. That's natural mineral water. Just saved you like $6. You go to the grocery store now, you see all these different waters, whether it's electrolyte water, vitamin water. People are so confused. You see people standing, it's Dr. Anthony and I, we look at everything when we're grocery shopping, but people looking at all these different types. The best would be reverse osmosis water, some type of filtered water, rather than the tap water or the municipal water.
Well, you know what? The Celtic sea salt thing is super important, because I have a lot of people that are confused about salt, because they go, wait, I thought that you're not supposed to do salt. Well, you're not supposed to do table salt. Your body needs salt. There's a ton of salt in your body, and you need to be able to replenish that. And it goes hand in hand with water this time of the year, especially because here in Ohio it's humid. If you go outside, the humidity is going to suck the water out of you, and you need to be able to get some water with you. So using some Celtic sea salt is super helpful. If you want more information on Celtic sea salt, I'll give you 2 great resources. One, the video that we have going on the screen right now, Celtic sea salt, it's on our YouTube page. If you were to just type in the Drugless Doctors and Celtic sea salt, it's a great resource. There's another book by the name of Salt Your Way to Health by Dr. David Brownstein. Super, super good resource. Everybody that has questions about salt, I'll always refer it to them to read that. They always come back to me, and they're doing some of these things where their mind's blown about salt because they didn't realize that they've been living their life without salt, and they can go back to salt, and they're just so super happy. So definitely check that out. Now, number 6, I know that not everybody likes this word, but I think it's important for us as adults to see the word avoid. So avoid, and the reason why avoid's on there is because these things can create inflammation, but they can also rob your body of zinc And zinc is super important for brain health. So wheat, soy, and sugar. Sugar is the big S word. It's the sin word. It's sugar. Now, really want to be able to avoid that. Dr. Casey mentioned it earlier. I think that Memorial Day to Labor Day is just as hard for people as it is Thanksgiving to Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's super important to have awareness here in the summertime because I always got excuse-itis from people about why they're not able to do it, or there's a graduation party, or I'm on vacation, or it's my third cousin's sister's brother-in-law's birthday that I needed to have a small piece of cake at. It's okay. There's always going to be something. Just be aware so that you can avoid those things. Dr. Kaysen, this next one is probably one of the other easiest ones that's on there for everybody to do.
Movement. So I encourage everyone, get moving, do something. 20 to 30 minutes of some type of exercise daily. It does not include what you're doing for work. Okay, I have a lot of people, they say, I get a lot of exercise at work. I'm walking, I'm moving, I'm lifting, I'm bending. That does not count for your exercise. It's completely different when you're doing a different activity. You're focusing on your exercise, which helps with the brain and the nervous system. Movement is life. Our body, we want to continually work on that movement with the brain and the nervous system. Helps with heart function, breathing, your mood. Does everyone want some more happiness in their life? Yes, this is one of the easiest things you can do. Walking is very easy. If it's warm outside, I encourage you, if you have a bike, an indoor bike, you have some resistance bands, some weights at home, find out something that you like. I have a lot of our members, they're a part of a gym. They do swimming, they do aerobics, they do hiking. I have some people in our office right now, they're doing Tai Chi, they're doing line dancing, square dancing, you name it. So whatever it is, I encourage you just to do it.
Okay, the next one on there, we already talked briefly about chiropractic, but I wanted to tell you about a study that was done. So one of my friends, she's a chiropractor in New Zealand. She also has a PhD, and she has this really cool lab where all day she just works with people with chiropractic, and she studies them before and after chiropractic care. So she developed this hat, an EEG hat, a way to measure brain activity. And she started having people wear the hat before and after their adjustments. And what she found with every single person is that the frontal lobe worked 50% better after the adjustment than it did before. So you're going to say, Dr. Anthony, what are you trying to say? Chiropractic helps your brain work 50% better than it does when you don't have chiropractic.
What's the frontal lobe for?
Well, the frontal lobe's for decision making. So everybody that makes poor decisions, which I know none of you do, who could use a little bit of better decisions, don't elbow the person sitting next to you.
Yeah, I don't need to make any decisions.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you're smart. You're well trained.
Thank you. I knew that too. You're a smart fella.
So super important. That definitely
Perceptive
helps there.
as well.
Another thing that was really interesting too in her research. She studied a group of young rugby players. So this young group of people that you're thinking that they should be at the peak of their performance. What she did with all of them is she had them close their eyes and point to a spot in space that was predetermined. And what she found is that about 75% of them could not actually touch the space. She got all of them adjusted and they rechecked, did the same test over, and 100% of them could touch the space. So it's really interesting, and that's what I'm always talking to people about, how chiropractic works, is it changes the brain's perception of the body, so the body works on healing itself. Now, sleep, we did a workshop on sleep maybe 2-3 months ago. If you want to watch it, go onto our Facebook page. It's on our Facebook Live, but sleep is super important. Your goal is to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. You want to go to bed by at least 10 o'clock, because that's when your body starts to replenish itself up. Super good for brain. Now, this was a great half-hour help because there's a lot of good information in here. One of the things you might say, you know what, I liked Dr. Anthony a lot, I like Dr. Kaysen a lot, I want to watch him again. Well, you can. Just go to our Facebook page. This video is streaming live right now. You can say hi, you can throw some thumbs up there, you can watch it or share it with your friends. Now, every month we do a workshop just like this. One of the reasons why, we want people to get information that they can use to impact their life. A very prominent area that I hear from a lot of people is they have digestive issues. In August, we're going to be talking about digestion and how to eliminate your digestive issues. So that'll be the first Wednesday at noon. I believe that's August 1st at noon. And Thursday at 6, it's going to be on digestion. Dr. C, what are some other stuff going on this month here in July?
Also, I know at the end of July, July 31st, and we have some of these sheets up here. So we have our whole year of workshops up here if you'd like to take one. But we're also doing breast thermography in our office, and we are in our 4th year of doing this service. It's 8 to 10 years ahead of a mammogram. It's a different approach. It's all through temperature and function. What we're seeing is incredible as far as change in women's breasts. So if you see here, so this is warmer temperature, this left picture. This woman had some lymph congestion going on in her breast tissue, and that improved in 3 months with nutrition. A lot of times you could have a mammogram and structurally it could say negative or normal, but you could still have some congestion or other things going on in your body that are not detectable. So we're doing that at the end of the month, July 31st, as well as August 3rd and August 7th. And I do our pictures for this in our office. I love doing this. Women as early as 20 can start doing this service for prevention. And it's all about keeping your body healthy from the inside out. Just like we're talking about the brain and the nervous system. If you have a feeling that there's things going on in your body but you don't know what to do, I encourage you, schedule an appointment. You come in, we do an evaluation, and we see, number 1, what's going on in your body, and number 2, can we help you? Those are our 2 goals in our office, is to help you be the best version of yourself.
So did everybody get one takeaway from today, one thing that they learned? My thing is always apply the information that you learned. Don't just let it sit on the shelf. Share it with others. It makes a world of difference. It's going to be a beautiful day outside today, so make sure to go for a walk. Thank you guys. You guys are tremendous. Have a great week, okay?
Thank you. And please, if you go straight up front, we do have our upcoming workshops up there.